Incredible moment revealed. Officer and K-9 discover missing daughter after 12 heartwarming minutes. The annual Maplewood Summer Festival was in full swing, a blend of laughter, chatter, and the enticing aroma of fried food wafting through the air. Emily stood behind the counter of the local diner, but her heart was elsewhere. It belonged to her lively 8-year-old daughter, Lily, who flitted among the booths with a smile that could light up the darkest days. Today was a day of freedom and fun, a break from their everyday grind as a devoted mother dove into work at the diner while dreaming of all their future adventures. Yet, as Emily finally clocked out and joined the festivities, her heart raced with enough excitement to match the carnival ride spinning and whooshing around them. The duo bounced from games to food stalls, sharing cotton candy and laughter, imagining far-off places they'd explore together someday. But in that fleeting moment of joy, something shifted. Emily turned her head to scan the crowd, and a chill ran down her spine. Lily had vanished. Where's Lily? The question echoed in her mind. Panic burst inside her chest as mere minutes turned into an eternity. Voices blurred into a cacophony of worry while colors from the decorations turned dull in her eyes. The laughter faded. Here she was, a devoted single mom who worked tirelessly to provide. How could she let her daughter slip away from her grasp? Frantically, she called out Lily's name, her voice desperate against the sea of strangers. Neighbors, friends, and even familiar faces from the diner joined her, creating a tapestry of community support, their faces flickering between concern and hope. Each second felt like a lifetime, and the weight of responsibility was heavy in the air. Thoughts colliding. Had she been too distracted? Was she failing as a mother? Then Officer Jake arrived, his presence radiating authority and promise. With him was Max, his loyal K-9 partner who could sniff out trouble in any neighborhood. But the world around Emily began to shift then as whispers of judgment surfaced like bubbles about to pop, subtly questioning Emily's worthiness, igniting a fire of indignation in her chest. She hadn't just lost her daughter. In their eyes, she had lost her place in this community. Stay calm, we'll find her, Officer Jake reassured, but Emily couldn't shake the force of whispered doubts. Lily was out there. The search felt like navigating a storm without a compass, as Officer Jake and Max plunged into hidden corners of Maplewood, a stark contrast to the celebration. Each moment cranked up the tension. Emily felt raw, exposed, and vulnerable beneath the watchful eyes of her neighbors. As Jake and Max ventured past familiar green lawns into less affluent parts of town, judgment loomed like a thundercloud. But Jake was determined. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Emily's heart thudded in her chest, the kaleidoscope of emotions swelled, a mix of hope and despair. Just when her thoughts danced dangerously toward the dark, a shout erupted from the corner playground, where laughter once floated carefree. There, hidden away on a swing set, was Lily. Dressed like an intrepid explorer, she had found refuge in her world of imagination, free from the celebration that terrified her mother. In that moment of frantic joy, Emily rushed toward her daughter, tears streaming as she cradled Lily in her arms. But the warmth was haunted by the bitter truth of how quickly judgments can sting. The festival's laughter faded again as they faced a community divided not just by class, but by perception. Would understanding rise from this crisis? As the townsfolk watched, Emily knew confrontations and healing lay ahead. What would it take to mend the rift in her community and her heart? As Emily held Lily close, the world around them slowly returned to life. The chaos of the festival re-entered her senses, the laughter, the music, the vibrant colors that now felt achingly bittersweet. She tucked a stray hair behind Lily's ear, the warmth of her little girl grounding her. But the crowd's murmurs drifted around them like a storm cloud, whispers laced with judgment that made her stomach churn. "Mommy, I just wanted to play," Lily protested, swatting away the concerned glances as though swatting away the weight of their scrutiny. Innocent and unaware, her daughter had vanished into a world of imagination. Emily's heart sank. This was the very thing she had fretted over, now presented as a spectacle for all to see. "Play? While I'm right here panicking?" Emily's voice trembled, a mixture of relief and anger spilling out with each word. She softened at Lily's wide eyes, though, realizing the carefree spirit that always danced in her daughter hadn't changed, even in stressful moments. "Let us go home," Emily said gently, her words quieter now as they turned from the floating sea of laughter that felt more judgmental than celebratory. But the path back was not simple. As they made their way through the festival, passers-by offered nods of understanding and some pointed fingers. The volunteers who helped search, including her neighbors from the diner, gave her pitying looks that pierced through her protective shell. "Emily! Thank goodness!" Margaret, the diner's waitress, rushed over filled with relief. "I was so worried. We've all been searching. Are you okay?" "Just a bit shaken," Emily replied, offering a weak smile that didn't reach her eyes. Lily tugged on her shirt. "Can we get ice cream?" "Hold on, sweetie," Emily replied, her heart tightening. The request felt innocent and pure against the backdrop of her perceived failings within the community. "Maybe later, okay?" As they walked home, silence settled among them, heavy as the weight of unspoken fears. Emily's mind raced. What if this was how her neighbors viewed her now? The single mother who had lost her daughter, her moment of weakness on display for everyone. Later that night, as Emily tucked Lily into bed, the glow from the festival still lingered in her mind. She brushed her fingers softly down Lily's cheek, the warmth of her child's presence for a fleeting moment erasing the uncertainty of the world outside their door. She fought her tears, feeling a blend of joy, love, and a gnawing sense of vulnerability. "Mommy?" Lily's sleepy voice broke through the quiet. "Yes, sweetheart? Do you think they'll still love us?" Emily's breath caught in her throat. The question hit hard. Silently, she cursed the judgment, the whispers. "Of course, they will, honey. Love always finds a way." But even as she spoke, doubt crept in. What if love wasn't as easy to find as it used to be? The next day loomed ahead, and with it, an anxious uncertainty about how to face her community. Did the incident at the festival change everything for her? Could she reclaim her place, or would she always be that mother who lost her daughter, even just for a moment? As the dawn light filtered through the curtains, she resolved to confront the misunderstandings, to show her neighbors just how much she cared. But how? And would they listen, or was the divide larger than she thought? With these questions weighing heavily on her heart, Emily found herself staring into the unknown, ready to take a step forward, even if it meant exposing her pain once more. Would the journey lead to healing or more heartache? Emily awoke to the soft chirping of birds outside, the sunlight pouring through the gap in the curtains like a warm embrace. She took a deep breath, letting the light fill her up with courage. Last night had felt like a blur of confusion and fear, but today was a new day, a chance to mend what felt broken between her and her community. After a quick breakfast, with toast crumbs scattered across the table, she decided she couldn't waste another moment worrying about others' opinions. Next to her, Lily was humming softly, absorbed in her colorful drawing. The world felt heavy, but Lily's innocence shone through as a beacon of hope. Emily smiled at her daughter, a smile that felt more real than the ones from the night before. "Lily, sweetie, how about we take a walk today? Maybe visit the festival again?" Lily's eyes lit up, and her face broke into a huge grin. "Can we get ice cream if we find any?" "Of course. Let us make it our mission," Emily said, the tension in her shoulders easing at the thought of having fun together, like they used to. As they set out, the familiar streets welcomed them like old friends. The smell of fresh baked goods wafted from the bakery, and laughter echoed from kids playing tag in front of their houses. But as they stepped closer to the festival grounds, Emily felt her heart race. Each passing glance felt scrutinizing, each whisper became a ripple of judgment. Still, she squared her shoulders and walked on. "Look at all the bright colors, Mommy!" Lily exclaimed, pulling on Emily's hand. They wandered through booths filled with handmade crafts and delicious treats, and for a moment, the atmosphere felt lighter. "Can I play that game?" Lily pointed to a booth with balloons and prizes. "Sure, let us try it," Emily said, forcing a smile as they approached. Lily bounced with excitement as she tossed rings toward brightly colored bottles. Emily watched the joy radiate from her daughter. But in the back of her mind, a familiar unease curled like smoke. What if someone recognized them? What if Lily's innocent laughter only drew more judgmental eyes? After several failed attempts, Lily finally won a small stuffed bear. She hugged it with the kind of joy that only a child could muster, and Emily felt her heart swell. With every smile from her daughter, she felt a bit stronger. But just as she began to relax, she spotted Margaret from the diner, standing nearby. Her heart raced again. Margaret approached with cautious steps, an uncertain smile on her face. "Emily," she began, her voice almost hesitant, "I wanted to say we're all thinking of you. I can't imagine how you must feel." Emily's throat tightened. "It was just a moment. I'm sorry if I caused any worry." "No need to apologize. We all care about you and Lily," Margaret assured her, her eyes softening. "It's good to see you both here. Maybe you could join us for dinner sometime?" Lily squeezed her hand, sensing the tension beginning to lift. Emily smiled through tears that threatened to spill. "That sounds nice, Margaret. Thank you." As they exchanged tentative smiles, an unexpected voice chimed in. "Look, it's the brave mom!" A child yelled, pointing at Emily and Lily, eliciting a wave of chuckles from onlookers. Emily froze, her heart pounding. But instead of feeling like a pariah, something strange happened. The laughter wasn't cruel nor judgmental. It was the playful acknowledgement of resilience, of a mother and daughter who faced a moment of fear together and overcame. In that moment, a wave of acceptance washed over her. Maybe love did find a way, even if it took detours. As they continued exploring the festival, Emily felt her spirit lift. And as they finally approached the ice cream stand, she turned to Lily, "What flavor do you want?" "Rainbow," Lily exclaimed, skipping lightly ahead with her newfound bear. Emily chuckled, heart pounding with newfound hope. "Then rainbow it is." But just when she thought things might settle, a familiar voice called out from behind. "Emily! Is that you?" As she turned, her breath caught. It was someone from her past she hadn't expected to see. Emily turned slowly, her heart racing as recognition washed over her. There, standing a few feet away, was Jake, her childhood friend from the neighborhood. His face, once so familiar, now felt like a reminder of the past she had tried to escape. "Jake?" she managed to say, her voice slightly shaky. He looked older, years etched into his features, but his smile was just as warm. "Wow, it really is you," he said, stepping closer. "I heard what happened. I'm so sorry you've been going through this." The moment felt surreal, like a small piece of her past colliding with an uncertain present. Emily's mind flashed back to carefree summers filled with laughter and adventures in their neighborhood. But now, the weight of her struggles lurked beneath their reunion, a heavy shadow she couldn't shake off. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Lily, clutching her bear tightly, looked at Jake with curious eyes. "Who's this charming little lady?" Jake asked, crouching down to meet Lily's gaze. "This is my daughter, Lily," Emily said, a sense of pride swelling in her chest. "Lily, huh? What a beautiful name." Jake's voice was warm and playful. "Did you win that bear all on your own?" Lily nodded vigorously, her excitement evident. "I did. I threw the rings and it went on the bottle, and then I got it." Emily exchanged a glance with Jake, and for a moment, all the tension seemed to fade. Their past friendship rekindled, washing over them like the summer sunshine they once knew. Just then, a group of local teenagers walked by, pointing and whispering. Emily's heartbeat quickened, anxiety creeping back in. Jake seemed to notice, his expression shifting to one of concern. "Hey, ignore them. You and Lily deserve to enjoy today," he said, eyes locking onto hers, urging her to shake off the negativity. Taking a deep breath, she replied, "I'm trying, really. It's just hard." "It's okay to feel that way," he assured, and as he spoke, he took a step back, giving her space. "But you know, the more you face it, the easier it gets." Lily tugged at Emily's arm, breaking her reverie. "Mommy, ice cream." "Right." Emily said with a nervous laugh, grateful for her daughter's joyful reminder. "We were on a mission, remember?" Jake smiled, his demeanor playful and sincere. "I'll let you two grab your ice cream. But I'll be around, maybe we can catch up later." Emily nodded, her heart swelling with a mixture of emotions. The thought of reconnecting with someone who shared her history felt comforting yet daunting. A moment of peace trembled against the backdrop of something unresolved, something that still loomed in the air. As she and Lily inched toward the ice cream stand, the vibrant colors of the festival enveloped them once again, the laughter and chatter wrapping around them like a blanket. Emily's mind, however, was still weighed down with thoughts. Would people forgive her? Would she ever feel safe in her community again? But that thought was interrupted by Lily's delighted exclamation. "Look, Mommy! They have rainbow ice cream." "Yes, Lily, rainbow it is." As she watched her daughter's eyes shine with glee, she couldn't help but hope that this day, filled with unexpected encounters, might signal a turning point. Yet, as they took their first spoonfuls of brightly colored ice cream, a sudden shout rang out from across the festival grounds. "Emily! We need to talk." Emily's heart dropped, nerves replacing the momentary joy as she turned to see the familiar figure. It was someone else she had never wanted to face again, and their presence pulled at something deep within her. Emily's stomach twisted at the sound of that voice. It was Mark, her ex-husband, his face taut with urgency. The earlier joy of the festival felt like a distant memory, evaporated by the weight of his arrival. "Mark," she started, her throat dry as she fought back the flood of emotions rising swiftly. Behind him, people paused, some turning their heads, likely wondering why a screaming former spouse was ruining the festive spirit. "We really need to talk," he repeated, a tense edge to his voice, cutting through the cheerful noise of the festival. Lily sensed the shift in her mother's demeanor, her small hand tightening around Emily's fingers. "Mommy, who is he?" she whispered, her innocent curiosity igniting the protective instinct in Emily. Emily knelt down beside her daughter, forcing a smile. "He's just someone I used to know, honey. Let's go find some more ice cream." But Mark stepped forward, his brow furrowed. "Emily, please. This isn't the place for games. We have more important things to discuss." Her heart raced. She looked at Lily, who was oblivious to the storm brewing around them, her attention fixed on the colorful ice cream stand. Emily felt torn. A part of her so desperately wanted to keep this bubble of joy intact for her daughter, while another part of her knew Mark could not be ignored. "Can we talk somewhere quiet?" Mark insisted, glancing over his shoulder to see if anyone was still watching. "Not now," she whispered fiercely, taking a step back. "I'm with my daughter." "Think about what you're doing, Emily," he said, lowering his voice but intensifying the insistence. "You can't hide from your problems. You can't avoid them forever." The harshness of his words pinched at her heart. She had fought so hard to carve out a little happiness for Lily, to keep her daughter out of the chaos that once enveloped their lives. Just then, a nearby vendor called out, "Hey, would anyone like to join the pie-eating contest? The jovial tone pulled Emily's attention, and for a moment, she considered turning back toward the ice cream stand, to laugh with Lily and forget Mark was even there, but his eyes caught hers, and dread settled as she read the seriousness in them. "Emily, I mean it. We need to talk about Lily. She deserves to know," he urged, his expression shifting from anger to something almost desperate. Lily tugged again at Emily's arm, her face lighting up as she spotted a clown juggling colorful balloons nearby. "Look, Mommy. Can I go see him?" Emily felt that pull, the urge to hold on to the happiness for her daughter, but the reality of Mark's words echoed in her mind. What could he possibly want to say about Lily? Was something wrong? Taking a shaky breath, she turned fully to Mark. "What do you mean, she deserves to know?" He took a step closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. "You haven't told her the truth about why things are the way they are. She's smarter than you think. Don't keep her in the dark. You're both in danger of repeating the past if you do." The clouds hanging over them grew heavier. Emily looked back at Lily, who was now sharing a smile with the juggler, blissfully unaware of the battleground her life had become. Mark's gaze followed hers, a moment of understanding passing between them before the tension returned. "Please, Emily. Let us figure this out together." But before she could respond, a loud commotion erupted from behind them. A crowd surged toward the far end of the festival, where an announcement blared through the speakers, followed by gasps and exclamations. "Stay here," she ordered Lily, but in a single heartbeat, Emily's protective instincts kicked in. She moved toward the ruckus, heart pounding in rhythm with the worried cries, fully aware that today might unravel in ways she never anticipated. "Emily!" Mark called after her, but her focus sharpened. They could talk later. For now, all she wanted was to keep Lily safe, even if it meant confronting truths she wasn't yet ready to face. As Emily reached the center of the crowd, she felt the weight of the festival, the laughter, the joy, and now fear, twist around her like a whirlwind. The air was thick with tension, and her breath caught in her throat as she tried to understand the unfolding drama, and then she saw it. A small girl crying, trembling in distress, surrounded by uniformed officers. "Is that?" Emily's heart stopped as recognition hit her, the missing girl from the news. Panic surged within her, colliding with the hope of rescue. What if this was a sign? What if today, of all days, was just the beginning of whatever came next for her and Lily? But before she could breathe, she heard Lily's voice ring out louder than all the chaos, calling for her from behind. "Mommy! Come see!" Emily turned, just as another loud shout echoed through the crowd, and she felt her pulse quicken. Sometimes life had a way of bringing feelings to a head, and as she learned too many times, the past often found a way to slip into the present, uninvited. The moment froze around Emily as dread and confusion coursed through her. Lily's excited voice pulled her back to reality, the innocent joy in her daughter's expression like a beacon amid the chaos. But how could Emily juggle both fears, the panic rising from the lost child and the euphoria of Lily's discovery? "Mommy! Look!" Lily squealed, practically bouncing on her toes, as if she was unaware of the danger that lurked just feet away. "Lily, stay close to me!" Emily shouted as she broke free from the crowd. She couldn't concentrate on this new tension, not when her own child called to her with such glee. Still, the sight of the trembling girl surrounded by officers gnawed at her mind. Mark stepped forward, his features hardening. "Emily, we need to talk." "Not now, Mark," she interrupted, her voice rising above the festival's noise. Her instincts took over, and she guided Lily away from the gathering to a quieter corner, where the festival's laughter faded to a soft murmur. "Mommy, I want to go see the clown." Lily's small hands tugged at her as she pointed back toward the celebrations, but Emily's heart raced. She knelt to meet her daughter's gaze. "Lily, I need you to listen to me. I want you to stay close. Can you do that?" Lily's brows furrowed slightly, but she nodded, her playful demeanor fading just a little in response to her mother's urgency. Emily wrapped her arms around her daughter, pulling her close for a moment, reassuring both of them. "Let us go over here and watch the balloons," she finally said, trying to divert her daughter's attention while maintaining an eye on the crowd. As they moved to the side, the sound of laughter returned, mingled with anxious chatter. The scene still simmered with worry, and deep inside, Emily felt a tremor of fear. Who knew what might happen next? A horn blared from a nearby stage, cutting through the festive air as an announcement made its way through the crowd. "We can confirm that the missing girl has been located. She is safe and with officers." In that instant, relief washed over Emily like a warm embrace, though it felt oddly out of place. A small smile curled on her lips. "See, Lily? Everything is okay. That little girl will be just fine." But as the cheers broke out from the gathering crowd, Emily felt a pang of uncertainty. What if that little girl's safety came with a heavier story? What if this joy was but a veil for deeper troubles surfacing within her own life? She turned back to where Mark had stood, but he was gone, swallowed up in the tide of the excited spectators. The air felt heavier, tinged with the unspoken words lingering between them. Then, Lily pulled at Emily again. "Mommy? Can we go to the ice cream stand now? Please?" For a brief moment, Emily considered it. But the tension in her heart wouldn't let her. She needed a clearer head, a moment to gather her thoughts. "How about we find a quiet spot where we can sit and talk?" As they took a few steps away from the festivities, Emily's mind was racing. How could she shield Lily from the shadows of her past, the darkness represented by Mark's sudden reappearance? Then it struck her as she paused to glance back at the crowd, an uneasy realization paving the way for a deeper connection. With Lily by her side, would she truly be able to confront the truths she had buried? The moment of joy was fading, and a new rush of anxiety pulled at her thoughts. But there was one thing she was sure of: Lily deserved to know everything, no matter how hard it might be. "Mommy!" Lily chirped again, breaking her train of thought as she clutched a balloon that had slipped from the crowd's excitement. Emily turned, focusing on the shine in her daughter's eyes. In that simple gesture, it hit her once more. Yes, this is about us. But what if those truths are more complicated than I imagined? Before she could voice her thoughts, an unexpected voice piped up from behind them. "Excuse me, ma'am, are you missing this?" An officer approached them, holding a crumpled piece of paper. Emily's heart stuttered, dread creeping back. What did this mean? And how was today turning into a spiral of twists that made it impossible for her to breathe? Emily's breath hitched as the officer held out the crumpled paper. It was a flyer, something hastily made, but the image of a little girl, bright-eyed and missing, screamed out at her from its surface. The officer shifted his weight nervously, and she could see the concern etched on his face. "Ma'am, we need to ask a few questions," he began, his voice steady but tinged with urgency. "This was found near the area of the festival. We think it's linked to the case. Is your daughter all right?" Lily clutched her balloon tightly, looking up at Emily with confusion. The festivity around them faded into a blur, and all Emily could feel was a rising tide of fear and a flash of memories of the times she had feared for her daughter's safety. "Yes, she's fine. We were just watching the balloons." The officer's gaze swept over Lily, searching for any signs of distress. "I need you to stay calm, ma'am. We're here to help, but I need to confirm a few things with both of you." Emily could only nod, willing her heart to settle. The cool breeze brushed against her skin, but her stomach twisted like a knot. As the officer spoke, she felt the weight of her decision pull her in every direction. It was one thing to protect Lily from Mark, but how could she keep her safe from the truth that haunted Emily's own life? "Mommy?" Lily's small voice pierced through her thoughts. "What's happening? Are we going to see the clown?" "Later, sweetie," Emily managed to say, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Let us just listen for a moment, okay? The officer cleared his throat. Have you noticed anything unusual today? Anyone following you or acting suspiciously? Not really, just the crowd, Emily replied, her mind racing. She had been so wrapped up in her own worries, she hadn't paid much attention to anyone else. All right. I need you to stay close to your daughter. We'll be patrolling the area, he said, jotting down notes on a small pad. Lily's small hand slipped into Emily's, and she squeezed it tightly as the panic threatened to resurface. Mommy, can we go home? Lily whispered, her voice small. The fun of the festival melted away, and all Emily could see was the twisted expression of her daughter, the fear of the unknown shadowing her innocence. Emily took a deep breath, steadying herself. Not yet. Just a little longer, okay? We'll find some ice cream soon. As the officer stepped back, Emily's mind raced. What if Mark had something to do with this? The mere thought sent a shiver through her. Could he bring danger into their lives again? She scanned the crowd for a glimpse of him, but there was no sign. Mommy. Lily's voice pulled her back. Please. The urgency and vulnerability in her daughter's eyes echoed through Emily, grounding her in that moment. Could she do this? Could she face whatever truth awaited her while keeping Lily safe? Okay, let us find a place to sit. Just for a bit, she said, her words laced with a determination she didn't entirely feel. She nudged Lily, and together they moved away from the chaos. With each step, Emily's heart raced. She needed to confront Mark, to dig into the emotions and memories she feared. And along with that came a sobering thought: how far would she have to go to protect everything she loved? Just then, a commotion caught her attention. A young woman on the fringes of the crowd burst into tears, grasping a little girl tightly. Around them, the warmth of celebration felt more like a charade than ever, as if each laugh masked a darker truth lurking beneath. What are we missing here? Emily whispered under her breath, glancing at the officer who had just spoken to her, only to find him re-engaged in his conversation a few paces back. That it hit her in that moment, the realization that the festival was not just an escape, it was a tapestry of stories interwoven with pain, hope, and hidden truths. Would she be able to unravel her own amidst it all? As the laughter and music pulsed in the background, the question echoed within her heart: what was she really willing to uncover to protect her child? Emily's resolve strengthened even as her heart pounded fiercely. And as they moved toward a quieter spot, she sensed that the real revelations were just beginning. Emily led Lily to a small patch of grass away from the noise, her heart pounding with every step. The laughter of festival-goers felt distant, almost surreal. She stared at the ground, trying to block out the images of lost children flashing through her mind. Every frantic moment she'd spent piecing her life back together loomed over her with a weight that threatened to crush her spirit. Can we eat ice cream now? Lily asked, her voice bright but edged with concern. I want strawberry, Mommy. Emily knelt down to meet her daughter's gaze. In a minute, honey. Let me just catch my breath, okay? The little girl nodded, fidgeting with the blue balloon still attached to her wrist. Emily could see the innocence in Lily's eyes, a stark contrast against the increasing shadows of worry creeping into her own heart. It was in times like these that she longed for the carefree days when all playgrounds were safe and the world felt magical. Mommy, Lily whispered, breaking the spell of silence. Is there a bad man out there? Emily's heart sank at the question. The officer's words hung in the air, and shadows of possibility clouded her thoughts. No, sweetie. Just some people who are maybe a little lost, she replied, hoping to soften her daughter's fear. Lily frowned, clearly not buying it. But before Emily could comfort her, the commotion from earlier surged back into view. The woman with the little girl was now surrounded by two uniformed officers. They were speaking softly, but the tears streaming down the mother's face told another story. Emily's instinct kicked in. She couldn't just sit while others were hurting. Come on, Lily. Stay close. They approached the scene as the officers began searching through the crowd, all focused and purposeful. Emily prayed that this wasn't going to end in tragedy. She turned to Lily, kneeling again to look her in the eyes, trying to instill a sense of calm. "Let us see if we can help, okay? You just stay right next to me." "Okay, Mommy," Lily responded, squeezing her hand tightly. As they reached the gathered crowd, Emily heard snippets of conversation. "She just turned around, I swear, she was just here." The pain in the voices resonated deep within her. What if that had been her? What if she had lost Lily in the blink of an eye? Then it happened. The officer with the K-9 unit approached the sobbing woman, and Emily felt her heart twist in anticipation. He leaned down, whispering instructions to his dog. The dog sniffed the ground, tail erect, scanning the area with excitement. The small crowd held its breath. "Please let them find her," Emily whispered, squeezing Lily's hand even tighter. She could feel her daughter's fear mirroring her own, and in that moment, she was both terrified and entranced by the raw emotion surrounding her. To Emily's shock, the dog suddenly broke free, darting toward a narrow alley just beyond the festival's edge. Eager barks filled the air, and the officers sprinted after him. "We got something!" one of them yelled. "Mommy! They found her?" Lily exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. Emily shared her daughter's excitement, her heart racing in unison with the commotion. "Let us follow," she urged, propelling them forward, their small hands intertwined like lifelines in a storm. As they moved closer to the edge of the festival grounds, anticipation bubbled inside of Emily. Could this moment mean hope? With fear and uncertainty swirling, she realized she wasn't just fighting for her daughter, she was fighting for every mother's heart, every frightened child caught in the unknown. Just then, a woman emerged from the shadows of the alley, her face alight with hope and desperation. "Is she safe? Have you found her?" The officer returned to his spot, nodding confidently, his dog wagging its tail. "Just a moment, ma'am. We're still checking." But before he could finish, there was a rustle, and the little girl came bounding out behind him, giggling and glancing back, a bright pink balloon floating above her. All eyes turned, including Emily's, as something in her heart shifted. Could joy come rushing back so suddenly? The officer called out, "We got her!" The crowd erupted into cheers, but Emily stood frozen as a new thought dawned on her. What if Mark was already among the crowd again, watching? Her breath caught in her throat, suspicion lingering. The festival was far from over. What other truths remained hidden in the shadows, waiting for her to uncover them? Emily's heartbeat pounded in her ears as she watched the little girl run toward her mother, the joy radiating from the reunion casting warmth over the cold fear still lingering in her own heart. The crowd erupted into cheers, hands clapping together, children laughing once more. Yet, amidst the joy, a fear bubbled just beneath her skin. She forced herself to watch the mother scoop her daughter up into her arms, the little girl's laughter cutting through the thick tension in the air. "Mommy!" Lily's grip tightened on her hand, pulling Emily out of her thoughts. "Can we go see the puppies?" "Of course, sweetie," Emily replied, trying to muster a smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. She was celebrating for them while wrestling with dread for herself. They moved away from the crowd, which was still buzzing with excitement. Emily could hear bits of conversations swirling around her, words of relief, gratitude, and festive chatter about the next ride to conquer. But each laugh felt eerie in the wake of what lingered in her mind. "Mommy?" Lily tugged on her hand, drawing her attention. "Are you okay?" "I'm just a little tired, honey." Emily knelt to meet her daughter's gaze, forcing her lips into a smile. "Let us go check out those puppies. That'll make us feel better, right?" Lily's face lit up, her earlier worries forgotten as she skipped ahead, the blue balloon bobbing aloft like a hopeful star. Emily watched her, momentarily enchanted by her innocence, then turned her gaze back to the crowd. People celebrated without a care in the world, while she felt hollow, vigilance clawing at her. As they walked along the festival path, the cacophony of music and laughter surrounded them, but Emily's mind raced with doubt. Mark's name lingered in her thoughts like a shadow. Would he dare to show up here? What if he had hidden himself among the revelers, just waiting for the right moment? Her grip tightened around Lily's hand, and the thought sent a cold shiver down her spine. She needed to stay alert, for her daughter's sake. They arrived at the small petting zoo area, and Emily felt her heart soften as she watched Lily's eyes light up at the fluffy puppies. "Look, Mommy. They're so cute." "Yes, they are," Emily replied, drawn to the wiggly creatures as they pawed at the edge of their pen. A sense of joy surged through her momentarily, but it was cut short by an uncomfortable unease she couldn't shake. As they got closer, a man stumbled past them, his demeanor felt off. He was a few paces behind them, glancing back as if still watching the crowd. The familiar ache of anxiety returned, tightening Emily's chest. What if he was a part of something dangerous? It was a feeling she didn't want to recognize, but it picked at the frayed edges of her courage. "Can we go inside and pet them?" Lily's voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it danced on the edge of her excitement. "Just a second, sweetie." Emily forced a smile as she tried to gauge the man's movements in the corner of her eye. He seemed to drift deeper into the festival, but the tension in her gut wouldn't ease. It was unsettling. Suddenly, her phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her focus away. She pulled it out, and a text message from an unknown number appeared on the screen. "I see you." Stomach dropping, Emily looked up, scanning the area for the man, but he had vanished into the crowd. Her heart raced more furiously than before, and she realized that fear had deepened into something darker and more menacing, an insidious threat looming over their seemingly innocent day. "Mommy? What's wrong?" Lily's voice broke through her frantic thoughts. Emily took a deep breath and knelt down, looking into her daughter's trusting eyes. "Nothing we can't handle, honey," she said, but her voice faltered, the lie hanging thick between them. As they moved to the edge of the puppy pen, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. What lay ahead, if the festival was just a facade hiding something far more dangerous? Kneeling beside the pen, she watched Lily giggle as a tiny puppy licked her hand. But deep down, Emily knew they'd never been this close and yet so far from safety, and as the music faded into an unsettling silence, she wondered, would this be the moment everything fell apart again? Emily felt the world swirling around her, the noise of laughter and celebration dulled by the nagging feeling of dread that settled into her bones. The balloons floated off as a subsidiary backdrop to her thoughts. "I see you." The text message had cut through the air like a knife, leaving her heart pounding with fear. Who was watching them? And why now? "Mommy? Can we go pet the puppies now?" Lily's voice, innocent and cheerful, tugged gently at her heartstrings. Emily wanted nothing more than to wrap her daughter in her arms and protect her from all of the chaos, the fear and the lurking shadows outside their world of laughter. "Of course, sweetie," she replied, forcing a smile, but her thoughts were elsewhere. She led Lily toward the puppy pen, their small hands still tightly entwined. The sun shone overhead, but a chill ran down Emily's spine as she looked at the rainbow of colors reflecting off the joyful decorations. It all felt too vibrant, too normal, given everything that had transpired that day. As they knelt down, an excited brown puppy wiggled its way through the mesh of its siblings to lick Lily's hand. "Look, Mommy. He loves me." Lily giggled, the sound a bright spot amid the gray cloud filling Emily's mind. For that fleeting moment, Emily's breath released, she could focus on the joy radiating from her daughter, the happiness that always illuminated her child's face in moments like these, but just as she began to feel comforted, the edges of her anxiety crept back in. As if on cue, another buzz interrupted her thoughts. She glanced at her phone again, anxiety boiling inside. Another message from the same unknown number, "I'm closer than you think." Panic surged through her, she felt trapped in a web of danger surrounding her. "Sweetheart, let us step back for a second," Emily said, her heart racing. She pulled her daughter away gently, maintaining her cheery demeanor even as worry knotted in her stomach. "But mommy, the puppies," Lily protested. I know. But let us just take a little walk, okay?" Emily kept a firm grip on Lily's hand, and as they turned away from the pen, the safety of the festival began to feel like an illusion. "Where are we going?" Lily asked, tilting her head, sensing the change in energy surrounding them. "Just around the corner." "It'll be fun," Emily said, her voice tinted with forced excitement. Her eyes darted to the crowd, scanning faces. She needed to protect her daughter from whatever darkness might be hiding there. As they walked, turning down a quieter lane, Emily felt the anxiety bubbling inside her. She needed to confront Mark, to understand why he had reappeared at the festival. It was a confrontation she had put off for far too long. Just then, she caught a glimpse of a familiar figure on the edge of the crowd, the man from earlier. He was staring directly at her, an unsettling grin on his face. Her heart raced as instinct kicked in. "Lily, keep walking," she commanded quietly, tightening her grip. "What's wrong, mommy?" Lily asked, confusion dawning on her face. "Just hold on to my hand tightly, okay?" Before she could think, Emily turned and led her daughter toward the main area of the festival. The music and laughter still echoed, but it felt like a barrier of sound against her rising tide of panic. Then, before she could settle her racing heart, Mark stepped out in front of them. "Emily!" he shouted, urgency etched in his features. It was unsettling, like the festival's altogether joyful moment had collided with something much darker. "Mark, not now!" she snapped, keeping her focus ahead. "Just listen to me. It's important. I found some information. Couldn't you have just texted me?" She cut him off sharply, the surge of frustration blending with fear. "Lily is right here. Lily, the innocent soul who deserved joy without this shadow of uncertainty. Maybe you should consider that I can't keep running into the past without addressing it, Emily," Mark shot back, challenging her stance, and just as they exchanged heated words, the crowd suddenly erupted into gasps. The scene from earlier with the little lost girl began to replay in the depths of her mind. Emily's gaze shifted back to the unknown man who had kept watching her. She had to act before it was too late. "Mommy, can we please go to the clown? I really want to see what he can do." The plea from her daughter tugged at her, grounding her momentarily. "All right, let us go see him," she said in a softer tone. As they stepped away from Mark, she realized this was more than just about himself and her past. This was about Lily's future, the one she desperately wanted to keep safe. As they approached the clown's act, bursting with color and laughter, Emily sensed some relief wash over her. Lily's laughter cut through her fog of worry. But then she felt her phone buzz one last time. "Have you truly left your past behind?" Turning quickly to Lily, she dropped to one knee, embracing her daughter tightly. "Listen to me, love. Just stay close and have fun, all right?" Lily nodded, enthusiasm replacing concern. And in that moment, at the heart of the festival, among the balloons, laughter, and joy, Emily began to understand. Yes, the past was there, looming with shadows. But love, hope, and the presence of community shone brightly too. They could rise together. Just as the clown's act began and laughter filled the air once more, suddenly Emily felt the hushed thrill of understanding. She didn't have to face the past alone. As the colors of the festival danced around her, she felt a flicker of courage ignite. She would confront her demons, embrace her truths, and for Lily's sake, she would make sure that love always found a way forward. In time, she whispered, "Let us go, soldier on," and embrace the laughter. She took Lily's tiny hand and together they plunged back into the heart of the festival, each step a testament to resilience, transformation, and the boundless love that defined their journey ahead. Emily knew this battle wasn't over. The shadows still loomed near. But together with their hands still joined, the light of new beginnings awaited them. Now was the moment to rise. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the inspiration flowing. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.